Barlow, the CSO at Trisotech. Thanks for joining us and welcome to our webinar, New Business Models Need New Tools. We want to keep this webinar short and to the point, so let me introduce Omar El-Sharkawi from our Berkeley office here in California. Omar?
Thank you, George, and thank you to everyone joining us today. This webinar is intended for all stakeholders in the organization. Simply put, if you're involved in discovering processes, process improvement, or digital transformation, this webinar is for you. The key points we're trying to make today are: digital transformation is in reality business transformation, business user knowledge is essential in growing and improving your enterprise, and that new tools are enabling business users to participate in and lead the business transformation process. As we all know, there's no questioning it. Every successful company is becoming a technology company. We don't have a choice in that, but we do have a choice in how quickly and effectively we can adapt to these digital changes. As the business landscape changes, new challenges and strategies to overcome those challenges appear, and that is why more and more IT spending is being driven by its relevance to business outcomes. Today's business leaders want IT focused on business results, innovation, continuous improvement, and the 500-pound gorilla, digital transformation. Spending on IT activities is also being scrutinized for how it will impact improving the customer experience, pushing innovation and lowering costs, while also assuring regulatory compliance. And the first question we get here is, what exactly is digital transformation? And the answer might be much simpler than you'd think. Digital transformation is an ongoing process that can be simplified and broken down into three major components: transformation, innovation, and continuous improvement. Transformation is defining new ways to do things, and consolidating how things get done, and automating how things get done. Innovation is introducing new things to do, and continuous improvement is capturing how things get done and improving how things get done. Combined together, these elements form the cornerstones of digital transformation. In a survey, The Importance of Linking Business Outcomes to IT Investment Strategy, conducted by IDG and published in 2016 by DataLink, findings included that 70%, and that is 7 in 10 of decision makers, feel the ability to link IT investments to key business outcomes is critical or very important. They also found that when making IT investment decisions, respondents believe that key business goals take higher priority in comparison to IT operational goals. It was also found that more than 40% of decision makers are not satisfied with IT's impact on business outcomes, and that only 47%, that is less than half the respondents, believe that their organizations are doing a very good job at communicating and demonstrating the impact of IT investments on key business outcomes. And only 8% indicate that no improvement is needed in this area. So while we have 7 in 10 that think that this is critical, less than 1 in 10 think they don't need any improvements in this area. And by examining these findings, it becomes pretty evident that digital transformation is in fact business transformation. And if what we're doing is actually business transformation, then who should be leading these efforts? On why business outcomes should shape IT architecture, management research and consulting powerhouse McKinsey Company say, complexity is rife in any growing business. As companies innovate, add new business lines and products, or expand their international presence, processes proliferate, and the discipline around them can go out the window. Meanwhile, the IT that underpins these processes can also become more entangled as aging legacy systems jostle with new applications to support the needs of the business. Over time, this kind of complexity can unravel technology standards and undermine the coherence of the architectural blueprint. As application volumes grow in response to a fast-changing economic, regulatory, and business environment, the issue of complexity is becoming acute for many organizations. McKinsey goes on to say, it starts with an effort to define the architectural design in a language that business can understand, with outcomes that serve its needs more fully and efficiently, thus improving communication and helping the business and IT leadership to collaborate in developing the IT architecture. This wider engagement puts ownership in the hands of the end users, or the business professionals, and therefore makes it easier for the required changes to stick and improves the overall governance. What McKinsey is talking about here is the importance of the business knowledge workers in digital transformation. McKinsey is advocating a new organizational alignment to manage and fund IT initiatives that not just includes business people, but which business leaders drive. And they say that companies that have taken this approach have lowered their need for architecture development labor by as much as 30% and reduced times to market for new applications by 50%. Continuing from the previous survey, it was found that 56% of respondents are thinking of streamlining their operational processes to more effectively drive business outcomes through IT investments. And 38% believe increasing standardization will drive better outcomes. So how do we go about this? And what actions are needed to improve IT's impact on business outcomes? Because digital transformation is in reality business transformation, it's essential for business leaders to maintain a big picture of all the moving parts in their organization. And to do this, the business leadership team must take the lead on transformation efforts. Process discovery, automation, and improvement are always associated with achieving key business outcomes. In the previously cited study, it was determined that difficulty standardizing and streamlining business processes was the greatest challenge in driving business outcomes via IT investments. And if that wasn't enough, the closely linked challenge of the need for automation was a close second. You also can't automate your processes if you don't know what they are. And if, as you discover them, you don't set about standardizing and streamlining them, you won't gain much in the quest to change your business models. The Trisotech Digital Enterprise Suite has been created to address both the transition to discovering and streamlining your processes while adhering to industry-accepted international standards. This is the new way to transform your business with business leaders and business outcomes driving the projects, activities, and funding of your IT services. And now we come to our case study today. EU Rent does digital transformation. EU Rent is a fictitious company that provides car rental services across Western Europe and North America, similar to other premium car rental companies such as Avis and Hertz. In the following demo, we will describe a major digital transformation effort, and that is planning and strategizing. And we will use EU Rent to illustrate real-life scenarios of undergoing these efforts using the Trisotech DES. So here on my screen, you should be able to see my Digital Enterprise Suite environment. Here we have the Discovery Accelerator, we have the BPMN Modeler, and we have the Case Management and Notation Modeler, and we have the Decision Management Modeler. And for our purposes today, we will be starting with the Discovery Accelerator. The strategizing and planning phase focuses on outlining enterprise goals and responsibilities, along with strategies to achieve them. In this use case, we'll see non-technical business people participate in the enterprise and business architecture, discovery, and modeling. And one of the most effective ways the business team can plan their enterprise strategies is by following something like a business goal-based discovery process. And to do this, the Discovery Accelerator provides a template that we can use, and we start with a balanced scorecard board. And here we have our enterprise goals at the top, and we can start by defining these goals and working with that to define the processes to achieve those organizational goals. First, under the financial goals, I can start with defining 900 million in annual revenue. Under customers, I can say assure 100% car availability at airport locations. Under internal business processes, I can enter something like by fourth quarter of this year, all transactions will last less than 5 minutes per transaction. And for my learning and growth, I can add something like by end of year, at the most, only 5% employee turnover. And as you can see, these are business goals that business users can understand and can define themselves. And going from here, we can define which processes would be needed to achieve these goals. So I can start here by adding an activity, and this process would be called a car rental process. And this can be related to the financial goals, customer goals, internal goals, or learning and growth. First, it will start with requesting a car model. And by going to the back of the card, we see that we're able to add our W5s. This lets you put your who, what, when, where, and why on the back of the activity card. So here we add our actor, who is the customer, and they are requesting a car model. And here, as soon as I start typing something in the goal section, you'll see that it relates these to all the goals that I have predefined for me. So this can be considered part of the 900 million in annual revenue, and it can also be tied up with assuring 100% car availability at the airport locations. When I close this, you'll see that the actors and the artifacts related to this activity have been added here as well. The second part would be checking car availability. And we can do the same thing over here. We go to the actors and add the rental agent. Here they are checking for the car model. You see that it populates it for you this time. It actually gets the same data and populates here, so you don't have to type over and over again. And for the Y, you can also assure 100% car availability. And this time we can add something like time. So I can add 3 minutes of lag time here and 10 minutes of processing time, any cost associated with this activity. We can also add values, and if you click on non-value adding, it gives you all the options for why this doesn't add any value or the type of waste for the activity. Quality, gaps, attachments, or if you have any comments that you want to add here to share with the teams. You can also add some simple text, and by closing this, you'll see that the rental agent was added at the back. And we can add something like a discretionary activity that doesn't happen every time, but say someone in the room says, by the way, when we're checking car availability, some rental locations offer certain discounts on certain cars. Here you can add something like offer discount. And by dragging it over here under check car availability, this becomes a sub-activity of this. And by going to the back of the card and marking it as discretionary, now we've highlighted this doesn't happen every time, but it does happen sometimes. And in this case, it can be the rental agent, and they offer a discount. Another way we can go about populating the process is using something like the user stories. And this is a very popular method with business analysts and project managers, and it was made popular by the Agile methodology people. This takes the form of a short story that is the perspective of the end user. So we can start with something like, as a rental agent, I want to check customer background so that I can assure 100% car availability at the airport locations. Make sure that this person will not be taking this car, or this car will be assigned to that specific customer. And by going back to the board, you'll see that check customer background was added to the board as well. Another very useful feature here that we can use is using the text field here to actually use corporate documentation to populate your process. Documentation is what makes any business process real, and a lot of organizations have business processes that they want to use that are in the form of corporate documents. By taking something like this and copying it and pasting it, this can be from a Word document or a PDF, anywhere you can copy and paste text. I just copied and pasted the text right here on this text section, and I can go into EU Rent, and I can highlight this as an actor. And you'll see that it has an orange square around it now, and this categorizes it as an actor, and it will be on the board as such. Something like offer standard models can be highlighted as an activity. Major manufacturers can be other actors. And you keep going through the document as such, and when you go back to the board, you'll see that major manufacturers in EU Rent and offer standard models were added to the text, to the board as well. Now, to show you how this looks when something is more complete, I actually have a file here that was in my repository, and this is what we saw when I first opened this. So this has all the goals on the top. They're pretty well defined, and here you can see that you can do the same thing with the goals that we did with the activity. You can put a sub-goal. So here the main goal is during fourth quarter of this year, 98% of customers who ask to rent a car get to. And to achieve this, we need to have 100% car availability for rental at the airport locations. So you can be very flexible with your goals. You can actually make this look the way you want it to look when you're designing and when you're talking and communicating on your whiteboard or during your discovery sessions. Here we have all our participants in the process, all the car rental activities. And from here we can go into the relation charts and take a look at our achieve and maintain chart. And here is where you can compare your goals to activities and see what goals tie to what activities. By highlighting here the half moon shape, you'll highlight all the goals that don't have any activities related to them yet. And here you get the question, do I have any unnecessary activities that don't really add to my achieving or maintaining these goals, or do I still need to go on and assign these activities to their specific goals? So here during fourth quarter of current year, it will take less than 5 minutes per case. So this has to do with maybe generating the contract, so the contract is available when the people get there, and this would be to achieve this and maintain it, so I can highlight both of them. And you'll see that it disappears and it's no longer highlighted. So here I know that once I put the appropriate values that this will disappear, and I'll know exactly what activities are being used and what goals are being used. So I can do the same thing here and see what activities need to be assigned to the goals. I can also change this from goal and activity and go to something like actor and activity to find my RACI chart, responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. And here I can do the same thing, and you'll see that I have a bunch of actors that don't really contribute to the process as of yet. And here I find out that there's a mechanic that's not really doing anything, and if no activities here relate to the mechanic doing anything, then this mechanic is not part of this process. And I can just remove this by going back to the board and taking him out as an actor. After doing this, we can go to the export section here, and we have the option to export to all these other outputs, including BPMN 2.0. But first, you can generate a report in Word or HTML. And to show you how this looks, I'm going to click on HTML here, and it will ask you which parts of the process you actually want to generate in your report. And once I click on generate, it takes literally a few seconds to give you the report in HTML format. Here it is. And let's navigate through this document together. Here we have the table of contents. We have the text that we started with all the highlighted and hyperlinked actors, artifacts, and goals. And if I click on one of them here, you'll see that it takes you to the EU rent that was an actor in our process. You see what responsibilities they have and what stuff they're accountable for. And you'll also see the user story that's associated with them. So here, EU rent branch wants to check customer background so that during the fourth quarter of the current year, the average processing time is less than 5 minutes per case. And associated with this is the rental agent and all the other actors in the process here. And you also see all the costs that were associated in the back of the card, time breakdown, all the information on the back of the card is in the report as well. And from here, we can click on BPMN 2.0, and it will take all the process details that we went through in the discovery here, and it will put it in a BPMN diagram. And here, as we can see, during our discovery process, we assigned actors who are our rental agent, our customer, EU rent branch, and EU rent, the rental agent had something to do as well, which was checking the car availability. And if you remember, this was a discretionary activity that wasn't always done, which is offering the discount. So here, if the car model meets a certain requirement, you'll be able to offer a discount or not. And this was done by checking the discretionary button. So just during your discovery process, as you're discovering and going about laying out your process details, you're putting in the logic that will be modeled as well. And this saves a tremendous amount of time and was done by business users. So not only did we build all this using templates like the balanced scorecard board template, and also user stories, and using text that is corporate documentation and people use all the time. This was all done in a matter of literally a few minutes using one tool, and by business users that understand the business needs and the business challenges. So you no longer have to rely on IT to do everything for you in the background. So to summarize, what we covered today, digital transformation is in reality business transformation, and business user involvement is essential in growing and improving the enterprise. New tools are enabling business users to participate in and lead the business transformation process. but you need to, 1, put business leadership in the driver's seat, 2, recognize the challenges of process discovery, streamlining, and automation, and 3, find the right tools to overcome your challenges. And companies that have taken this approach have already lowered their cost of architecture development by 30% and reduced times to market for new applications by 50%. And don't forget to tune in and join us next time. Our next webinar will be May 26th, and that will be Strategy to Execution, How to Bridge the Gaps of Cross-Organizational Transformation. During that webinar, we will go over the next part of the challenge of digital transformation, and we're going to use a lot more of the Discovery Accelerator and go over the BPMN modeler a little bit more. Keep in mind that we only used about 10% of the Discovery Accelerator tool today to build the process that we put together. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about how this tool works and what the capabilities of the integration of all the different modelers are, I'll be happy to discuss that with you on a separate call. Please feel free to email me at the email address below here, and I'll be happy to get back to you and schedule a call at a separate time.